All we ask is embrace the vision.
You already know what it is, YouTube, and if you didn't know, you better find out, because this is your boy, Division. And like always, we are back with another one. This time we got Alex Pereira. I don't know how to say another person's last name. Somebody give me one of those dictionary sound out things down in the comments below. Let me know how the heck do I say this guy's last name. I probably just need to watch this video and I'm gonna learn that about him. But honestly, Alex has been in the media a lot in the last couple of years. He beat Israel Adesanya for the middleweight title. I know that much. And then Israel got him back, but then Israel lost the title again. I know all that. And now he went and challenged for the light heavyweight championship. I think it's the light heavyweight championship. He challenged for that and won. So now this dude is the light heavyweight champion of the UFC. One of the best strikers, I guess, of all time. People I'm hearing online in the comment sections of different posts and stuff. I'm getting all types of UFC stuff on my different social media, so I'm literally learning fast now about some of these fighters. But I see a lot of different things about Alex, so let me know y'all opinions below about him. I'm about to watch this video and really learn what it is to this dude, what makes him a great fighter. This is called the unique case of Alex Pereira. I guess that's how you say it. Let's go ahead and get right into the video, y'all.
Once in a while, a guy enters the UFC, hyped up as the second coming, and he completely fucks everything and everyone up. When he's done, you're left thinking, where do we rank him? There are certain athletes who just have that aura. You see them, you know they are special, but then they accomplish a feat worth their greatness. The discussions begin right after. Is he the greatest of all time?
I am the greatest.
I don't know about the greatest, but you don't have to be the best.
Okay.
Special. Habib was one example. 29-0, never lost a fight, barely lost a round, never bled, and he retired on top. You cannot call him the best there was, but you can definitely call him different from the pack, like a force of nature.
This is a different kind of human being. Those Russians that's a different kind of human being.
Dagestanis,
They
grow up fighting
from the time he's a baby.
Yes.
And now Alex Pereira has entered the conversation. In the last video, I mentioned that if he got the W at UFC 295 and became double champion under 10 UFC fights, he would deserve a whole lot more. Well, he's getting it.
So first things first, I want to give a big shout out to the creators of this video, TFB. TFB, shout out to y'all for making this video. I'm probably going to check out some more of the TFB videos because it looks like they do a lot of UFC stuff. So I'm definitely going to check out their channel, see if there's any good content I can react to. Just wanted to throw that one out there.
In 2020, Alex Pereira was a retired all-time great kickboxer with nothing left to prove in the sport. Becoming a middleweight champion in glory is hard enough, but Poatan went up and captured the light heavyweight title as well, becoming the first, until date, only double champion glory.
I really saw him grow into the two-division champion he was, and it's been an honor for me to really call his fights. So, good luck to Alex Pereira.
He made history. Didn't quite become the consensus greatest kickboxer of all time, but with this feat, he did carve out his own unique legacy as an extremely special athlete. In the same year, Pereira found a reason to head back into the world of combat sports. UFC 248 featured a championship clash between Yoel Romero and Israel Adesanya, someone Alex knew really well. And when the middleweight champion started talking shit, Pereira was determined to teach him a lesson for the third time.
He's gonna be at some pub talking some shit about, I beat that guy one time.
When Pereira made his UFC debut, he was only known as the guy who slept Israel, but one fight, one vicious knee to the face knockout, and fans knew they were dealing with a monster.
Wait, so he's beaten Israel before UFC. I think he beat him a couple times, so that's pretty unique and crazy because Israel is definitely one of the GOATs, and to me at least, from what I've seen, he's regarded as one of the GOATs, and this dude has beaten him before UFC and then beat him again in UFC. That's nuts.
One highlight reel on YouTube, and you knew this guy was a knockout machine with an unholy left hand, but how good was his ground game? That was definitely something to consider, but the UFC saw money and pushed a former Glory champion towards the title picture as soon as he knocked out a contender in Sean Strickland.
Is Pereira going to play into his game by just attacking him, or do you take much from the kickboxing fights? Because as I break it down, I really don't know. I don't know what to expect, but I do feel like we finally got a guy that can match Izzy on his terms.
Why is Ryan Clark?
Pereira, who was competing in his 4th UFC bout, reminded the dominant 185-pound champion that he had not changed at all. This was his 4th UFC fight, and he had dethroned one of the greatest middleweights in history. Way back in the day, Randy Couture won the heavyweight title in his 4th fight against Maurice Smith. What Alex had done was far more impressive, as Israel had been in the MMA game a lot longer, and despite getting taken down and controlled, Poatan looked ready to kill at the start of the 5th, and kill he did.
Eu me sinto muito bem, muito feliz. Já estava inscrito. Eu sabia que eu ia ser campeão.
Predictably, with Israel as the top star at 185, the company booked an immediate rematch for UFC 287. And finally, on the 4th attempt, Adesanya did get the victory, regaining his middleweight crown in epic fashion in MMA.
I'm not gonna lie, y'all, that is a fight I've seen before. That was a great fight, the rematch. Israel was in that corner, getting back down, getting popped, getting hit, and he slept, dude. That's why, like, in a fight, like, as long as you are still throwing a punch, you still got a chance, y'all. I know that much.
They were 1-1, and while Alex wanted a trilogy bout, Israel had no plans to share the octagon with him again, and who could blame him?
I put so much pressure on myself that last camp. I really had to go to some dark places, and I did that for myself.
No chance for a 3rd fight and too brutal of a weight cut down to 185. Poatan sought a different route, probably with the intent to spite his rival. The light heavyweight division had gone through hell ever since John Jones vacated his title, and the title picture was wide open. With the title opportunity just one victory away in a striker's heavy division, Poatan moved up, just like Israel had done before, and he fought the same guy Israel lost to, Jan Blachowicz.
When I hear that he will come to our division, so I just, want to fight against him, and I say, okay, let's give it to me. Why not?
Fighting months after a bad KO loss against a guy with knockout power and a competent ground game, this was the crossroads for the former middleweight champion. At 36 years of age, Pereira had this one shot to remain in the title picture.
36, not young, definitely in his prime, end of his prime at that.
Grappling.
He's bigger than the others. Maybe this is one difference, but we'll see inside the octagon what's going to happen.
At Salt Lake City, Pereira got his hands raised in a close fight. He survived the wrestling and won the stand-up battle. And while the headlines were about Poatan tormenting Israel and securing himself a championship shot, we didn't stop to think. On paper, this guy was an MMA novice, and yet he had bested one of the more complete 205-pounders in the company, and a former champion.
We're going to do this again, and I'm sure there's going to be for a belt, and after that, doing it like this, we'll come back and talk about that with some unfinished business.
As we got closer and closer to UFC 295 at MSG, the same arena where Poatan won his middleweight title, we began to comprehend, holy shit, this guy might actually pull it off and become double champion with a handful of UFC fights. He had already defeated 3 UFC champions, and his next opponent was Yuri, someone who never truly lost his title.
Beautiful city, New York, Madison Square Garden, main event, great opponent.
By now, it was no longer about being Israel's greatest hater. Poatan had done enough to establish his own legacy in the sport, and one left hook from hell, and we'd be looking at one of the most impressive combat sports athletes to ever step inside the war zone.
Light heavyweight title fight going to be on the line as well. Yuri Prochazka, Alex Pereira. Pereira trying to become the 9th UFC fighter to win a belt in 2 different divisions.
The vacant light heavyweight title awaited a new king, as 2 of the most destructive and vicious strikers in the company faced off in the main event of UFC 295. The 2 former champions were adept at putting people to sleep, and it was a matter of who would be able to strike first. And in the second round, Alex found an opening for his patent left hook. That unholy weapon of his had won him multiple titles before.
You gonna show it?
This was no different. 1 shot, a few follow-up punches, and we were looking at the 9th double champion in UFC history.
Does that impress you, the fact that how Alex has grown in this short period of time in MMA, and he's adapted, and he seems like he has a complete game already in just, how many fights it is?
Yeah, I think that he and Israel Adesanya, if you look at them coming from,
you know, one style, and being able to make the transition and do as well as they've done here, it's very impressive.
Becoming a double champion in glory is an inhumane accomplishment, but crossing over in your mid-30s to a more dynamic and vicious sport and replicating the same feat, in fucking sanity. Now that he has done it, you are looking at one of the most credentialed combat sports athletes of all time. Like I said, it's just a crazy sight to see a fighter rise to the top so fast. Get this amount of respect,
That's
popularity,
facts.
and
That's
fame
facts.
so fast. Just felt like every
just a
step
couple
of the way
years,
was supposed to happen
he's
in the
won 2
championship
different
to secure
belts.
his place
It's
in the bloody
crazy.
history books
Not
for
many fights.
decades
I
to
don't think he
come.
got 10
He will
fights
not
under his
surpass
belt.
Henderson Silva or John Jones. He might only fight a few more times and call it a career, as he is up there in age. You cannot call him a GOAT contender, as his resume doesn't compare to guys like GSP and Jones. But much like Khabib, you, as a combat sports fan, have to give him respect. Greatest of all time? Not really, but special?
If you want to be a champion, and we told him the truth and did it the way he did it, man. This guy is just like, you want to be a champion, man, you gotta give it, you gotta give everything you have.
If a current glory champion moves up a division, wins the title there, and comes over to the UFC to conquer 2 divisions, then we'll talk and compare. Until then, Alex Pereira is a special, special athlete.
Alex Pereira. Definitely a special guy, like the video said. Like, just watching it makes me want to go watch some of his highlights, because I didn't really get to see no action in this video. It was more just talking. It was a really great summary of his career, especially before the UFC. I didn't know any of that stuff hardly. I knew he was a kickboxer, but I didn't really know much at all about you know, his journey before the UFC. And I didn't really know his journey beginning into the UFC. Really, his journey with me starts with his mainstream debut, and that was definitely his fight against Izzy. So, yeah, this is a very interesting video. Polton is definitely somebody I'm going to check out some knockout videos. I got to do that. I might actually just go ahead and do that, like right now. Like, yeah, that's actually what I'm going to do. My next video will be a knockout compilation of this guy, because I gotta see some action now. I know y'all want to see some action, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, y'all. Man, I see y'all loving the content. The views is going up, the subscriber count going up, and I'm having a lot of fun. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Just make sure, if you're enjoying these videos, to hit that subscribe button. There will be some action coming on the channel tomorrow, I promise you that much. Going to see some highlights, some knockouts and stuff from this guy. And like I always say, y'all, give it your all, be safe, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.